Hi. Hi, everybody. How's it going? How is it going? Oh, somebody's texting me. Who is it? Okay, cool. Yeah. Welcome. I am back, fresh back from WordCamp Europe in Basel. Had a great time. Had a really good time. It was a lot of fun. I got to hang out with some really good people. Did karaoke with George and Marco and a bunch of other folks, and it was a lot of fun. Pretty sure it was at a biker bar. You know, there was no Thailand though, Kev. I see you lurking in chat, Kev. That's right. I'm calling you out. Yeah, so today I think we're going to try something new. I wanted to get to this workshop that a coworker of mine, lurking, was doing, and it was for automated tests in WordPress Playground, and I didn't get to it, so I thought we it's on
Oh
WordPress
great,
TV.
it's KevXB.
I know, Kev. I did bail, and I felt bad about bailing, so I made it up to George. Um, but we didn't stay out till 5 o'clock in the morning either. Came home at a respectable time because I'm a respectable adult. But next WordCamp Asia, if you go, maybe we'll do some karaoke together. Anyways, the workshops and all this stuff for WordCamp Europe are up on WordPress.tv. I'd recommend go checking them out. I'm gonna drop a link in here. You might even find a certain streamers workshop is up there. You can go check that out. A couple of really good talks that I would recommend seeing. The fireside chat with Mary and Matt, I thought was quite good. A lot of good questions, a lot of excitement about what's coming for both WordPress and for Automatic. It's great times. Noel talked at his keynote speech was like all about the fields. It was amazing. Check that one out. I'll drop some links maybe. Give that one a look. Boom. Yeah, I mean there was a ton of good talks. It's really hard to. The speed build was a lot of fun with Jamie Marsland and Fabian and Ellen. They did a great job. They had a really tough site to build. It was really fun. Good times. Anyways, the whole playlist, I linked the playlist up top there, so go check that out. So I think I'm going to try to follow along, not with that one, with this one, with Barrow. So I don't know if this is going to, I don't know. We're going to see. I am going into this site unseen, and maybe I should, it's pretty small. Can I zoom it in? Maybe I'll zoom in. I'll just do it that way. Hello. All right. So let's get started. Can you hear that okay? Oh, it's very loud. I don't know. Is it very loud? Pause. What? We're all waiting on your fair take. What do you want to talk about fair? It's interesting. Maybe we'll talk about that before we get into the other thing. I don't know. I don't have a real strong take on it. It was released the day of the conference, and it looks interesting. I personally think it's kind of neat. It's a neat way of solving a perceived problem or a problem, I guess. It comes with other issues too. I mean, I'm not that deep and well versed into it to have a real strong opinion. My gut feeling on it is that I think it's going to allow some of the community that maybe is feeling pretty unhappy with some decisions that have been made to heal a little bit. It gives them options. If you know, and I think that's really neat. I mean, it's really way too early to tell if it's going to be something that anyone can use. It's a fair question, Jonathan. Dad joke in the room. I don't know. I feel like it's I feel like it serves a purpose. I honestly think that like the majority of WordPress users aren't going to need it. If you're running at like really high enterprise scale, maybe it's something for you, but I don't really know. I mean, there's some infrastructure involved in that. I mean, there's lots to it. I would encourage you anyone to go and read about it and check it out and see if it's something that you're interested
Oh,
in.
great. It's Philip.
Oh, the Philip is there. Hey, Philip. Um, yeah, I don't know. What was the perception for those who were not at WordCamp EU? Like, did you get any sense of it? Because it was I was in the building where the sort of the other conference was. It was right around the corner from where the main conference was, and there was this really great. It was, I want to call it a food court, but it was kind of cooler than that. Um, and there was a big bar in the middle, and you just get your food and then grab a drink. But they actually had the alt control alt conf. I'm not getting that right. Was in that building. So I was actually there having dinner, and then I'm like, oh hey, look, there's all these people. So, I mean, I wasn't the only one. There was a ton of people there. So, um, yeah, but it was interesting. I didn't get any sense of like hostility around it. I saw a lot of the folks that are on the list of supporters for that at WordCamp Europe, and I don't know. I'm not answering any questions. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I mean, Matt's opinion kind of mirrors mine a little bit, and not because I work for him, but because we don't know what it looks like yet. I haven't looked at the code, and I mean, it's written by very, very smart, intelligent, amazing engineers, and I'm sure it's quite amazing, but I don't have enough insight into it to have a real strongly formed opinion yet. Other than I think it might be a cool thing for certain individuals. Maybe I think I'm talking in circles now, but that's that. That's that. Oh, interesting. The LUP. Care to expand on that? Here, I'm just going to spotlight your message so we can see what I was talking about. Cool idea built on the wrong premise, which is total hate against automatic. Yeah, I guess that is sort of where it came from. I mean, if you read about it, I believe the Alpwist original. Good morning. I think it was a reaction to certain actions that were taken by automatic. For
Oh,
sure.
great. It's Ilpus original.
Oh, Alpwist original. Um, yeah, and maybe it's the sort of thing that like something happened, some people don't agree with it, and maybe some good will come out of it. Like maybe this fair. What is it? Fair. What does fair stand for? It's federated. It's just connect from A at C to redirect from .org. Well, it's basically the premise of it is so you can not be reliant on .org infrastructure, right? Because yeah, exactly, Jonathan. Exactly. I agree with this 100%. Like open source and like Matt said this in the fireside chat too. He said, "Yeah, it's open source. Anything can work with anything, right?" But I mean, so I believe that it was because of the actions that were taken around ACF, and so people felt very strongly that they needed to be able to sort of control that and maybe take some of the control out of the hands of the .org infrastructure, right? Whether you agree with that or not, I don't know, but it does provide a solution to that problem if you see it as a problem. That's my 2 cents on it. I think it's a cool thing if you want to completely roll your own plugin repo, theme repo, .org infrastructure, then more power to you. Now you have the means to do that. I hope you have very deep pockets, very, very deep pockets. There's some concerns around, I mean, it makes things a little, there's more of an attack surface now, right? Isn't it? Yeah, exactly, Troy. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I think it's a good step forward for open source. I really do. I think it's
Oh,
great. I
great.
think now,
It's Troy
if you
Chaplin.
want to, Troy Chaplin, who has is it a llama? What is that? No, it's not a llama. It's an ostrich, an emu, a llama. God, that's not a bird at all, you idiot. um, yeah, I don't know. I just think that like it might be a cool thing, and maybe I mean, emu we saw in Newfoundland. Excellent. Excellent. So, if you've just joined us, you may be wondering why I have a video of Berislav on here. Well, this is a workshop that... No, well, I turned the music off because, you know what, I'm going to put the music back on because... It's so quiet. There we go. I took the music off because we were gonna do this workshop. So I put the music back on until we start doing that. I almost turned my lights off here. Cool. Yeah, no, that's true. Most people only really give a shit about the music. Can you hear the music? Yeah, you can hear the music. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah. So, anyways, I would when I was there was this really great workshop by a colleague of mine, Barrow, as we call him, about doing more advanced automated testing with WordPress Playground. I was not able to get to the conference, to the workshop. Yeah, exactly. If it wasn't for Troy, although Troy, I think you're gonna get replaced by Cursor. I mean, but like not in my heart though. You'll always be number one in my heart. I forget what am I saying here? Oh, there you go. What PR for what? What is it? The LUP has a PR responded to by Barrow. Is it for Playground? It's Barrow does a lot of really amazing work. He's a smart dude. I was talking to him at Working at Europe, and so another colleague of mine, Birgit Polyhack, who did a really great sort of like introduction to Playground, using the Playground like WordPress.playground.net. Oh, nice, cool. And she was using like the interface and everything, and so we were talking to Barrow afterwards because I mean, like the interface at playground.wordpress.net is pretty cool. The thing that I'm specifically talking about while we wait for that to load is so if you're in here and you go in here and you go to blue, I was gonna say a blue blueprint. I gotta stop drinking before the streams. And so like when you're in here, right, you can you can do this. It's a great little interface, but it's a little clunky. And even Barrow was saying that like, yeah, there's some things that we can do to make it like auto format and all of that stuff. And he was telling me that he put something together where he just pulled all of VS Code in and built it in there. And I was like, oh, yeah, we operate at different levels, my friend. Just like I'm just gonna pull the editor in from VS Code. Do that. Tom DeVisser, I owe you something, don't I? Tom and I were like two ships passing in the night at Working Up Europe. I didn't get a chance to see him. Tom, I did reach out about your problem with the username. It is a frowned upon thing to change usernames, but you can. I have an email that I can get that I will give you after the stream, or maybe I'll do it after the stream. I don't want to expose anything to anyone, so but I will send it to you. I don't think you'll be able to change your username specifically, but you might be able to. I don't know. It depends on what you're trying to do. Cool. No. It's. I reached out and it was a couple of days until I got a response, and then I was in transit back from WordCamp EU, and I had not seen you at the after party, so I was avoiding you a little bit, so I didn't have to have that awkward conversation. I'm joking. I will. I'll pass a message on to you when I am done streaming live today. All right, should we do this? Should we try to do this thing, or does anyone else want to chat about anything? What have y'all been up to? You got anything cool you want to share? While I drink my coffee. I did. I had an early train back in the morning, so I had my 2 drink tokens and said my goodbyes and kind of ducked out a little bit early just because I had to. I have to tell you about the yeah. Matt just posted and is ranting on Slack. Ranting? What ranting? In which Slack? I'm gonna look at this off screen. Wow. There's a ranting channel? What in? There's a ranting WP Slack. Oh great. Okay. Do I want to see this? Let's just see. Rumor channels. Basel channels. Ranting. All right. Okay. What am I looking at here? Yeah. Troy, me, Tom, everyone jumped in. What's that? An interesting thought experiment, especially from a brand point of view. What do we? Oh, I don't think I want to be in this channel. Okay, let me. I'm just gonna. I don't know if I want to put this on screen just because my Slack is full of everything. It's not bad. Okay, an interesting thought experiment, especially from a brand point of view, is that when something should be stop being called WordPress because the experience it's delivering under that name is so different. Interesting. By the way, I think I made this mistake before with Calypso, which probably should have had a different name. It was because we wanted to merge all that back into core as a new admin, but didn't work as well for many screens like comment moderation. That's why it's GPO. If you look at what's launching on .com, it's all taking things back to vanilla core, WP admin, and just making Calypso the hosting control panel. That was UX drift, but we see a lot of functionality drift too. Hosts taking away control of core features from their users and visibly altering or replacing .org resources. Interesting. I didn't know this channel existed. What do you want to talk about this in Cameroon? There. Looks like there's some hate for GoDaddy in there, which is unfortunate. Huh. Okay. Well. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. I'm failing to see the rant. Yeah, it's more of he's just making a statement. I don't know if this is in. I don't know what is. The channel started and then. Oh well, that makes sense. There's not much in there. I don't see it as a rant more than a statement. I mean, he's. It's just like a shower thought. It sounds like to me. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. I mean, I go check it out. It's pretty neat. But and maybe there's subtext. I don't see any subtext. As somebody that works for Automatic and knows sort of internally what our game plan is, not for WordPress but for Automatic product, knows a little bit of what we're talking about. There's nothing in here that's like subtext or like there's no. Oh, that's an interesting take. You think Calypso should have been today's Studio with more extensibility? Interesting. Well, Studio is built on top of Playground, which is really cool, and it's getting better and better and better every week. It's got a super fast release cadence. It's like every 2 weeks. And you know what's really cool? I'm so excited for this. I don't know when, but we're gonna get Xdebug in it, and it's gonna be amazing. That's going to be amazing. That's the one missing piece for like real serious development tooling in there. I think. Well, there's a couple of missing pieces, but that's the big one. What's the issue? You're expecting Calypso to be the old local WP? Interesting. Wasn't? Oh yeah, it may have been. Yeah, the WordPress.com app I think was Calypso inside of Electron Container. I believe that. I believe you're right, Jonathan. What's the issue that you're having, Troy? I'd love to hear it. Is it that? Are you forgetting to press start? That's the problem I always have. I forget to press start. Okay, hold on. Where's the? Oh right. Okay, cool. Anyways, I've just shut down missing a semicolon. Yeah, missing a semicolon. Is it a PEBCAC error? when I load up Studio after shutting it down, my local sites don't work anymore. Like you have to turn them back on? Is that what you mean? I think each site gets its own sub port, I think, in Studio. But you're right, like it's localhost 888 and then let's take a look. I think the last number of the port gets changed for each one. I can't You have to install new sites to rename existing ones? That every time you shut it down? That's weird. Are you using custom domains? Like yeah, that's strange. Yeah, you should definitely open an issue for that. That is odd. I've never seen that before. I don't know, Jonathan, have you ever seen that? Because I have sites running. Like if I open this, yeah. So like the ports are all sort of different. Weird. Yeah, I think you're gonna need to provide some steps to reproduce it. I feel like that might be something very specific to your system. Do you have, because what else could it be? Let's see. Looks like there was a new. What's new here? What do we got? Sync to your favorite host. Preferred app. That's in Studio. Okay. Cool. Yeah, did you know that you can now sync to Pressable sites, which is really cool? As someone who hosts some of their stuff on Pressable, it's pretty handable. Pretty handable. This is a word that I just made up. Again, drinking on the job. Huh, that's weird. Do you get any error? So one thing you can do, I think you can do this. Can you do this in here? Can you get into developer tools? Maybe you can't do it through this settings. No. Poop. All right. Yeah, I think extensions are on the roadmap. I don't know when. It would be very cool because there's definitely going to be lots of use cases where you're like, I have a very specific server configuration where I want to, like, you essentially want to connect it through FTP or something, right? And pull it down and do all that. That would be very cool. I don't know what the roadmap is for that, but that would be a big win for Studio for sure. Fosha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can ask around and see what they're thinking, but I think we need an infrastructure. Like there's nothing really in place for that. Oh, there is one. Hey, there we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great. I mean, it's clearly something that they're gonna have to do at some point. I mean, because that's the way you keep a tool relevant, right? Instead of having to develop every single feature for every single thing, give it extensibility, right? Like imagine WordPress didn't have hooks, and everything had to be in core. Every feature that every plugin introduced had to be in core. It would never get done, right? That's the thing, you know. So I think for the longevity of any platform, being able to extend it is a big deal. You know what? The thing about WPDB, I don't know if you've run into this, but I've seen that certain WP CLI commands, specifically around ones with the database, don't work, which is a bummer, right? I think what he's saying, Jonathan, is he wants to be able to do it in the sync panel, right? Like, why not? Is this not it? What is this? How is that? Yeah, guess I have to log back in. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. Like in the meantime. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Right. Clears transients or refreshes specific options that I periodically clear. Yeah, that's cool. Well, there is a CLI. Maybe you could use some CLI stuff in there. Like if the CLI, I've never used the CLI, but I think I use the push buttons instead. I just use the push button instead of logging in. I know that they're working on selective syncing as well, because I mean, one of the things now is if you sync, it's all going up. If you pull, it's all coming down, right? So I think there's being able to have some control over what that looks like is really cool. Really cool. All right, enough of this shenaniganery. Just rambling on about nothing today. Okay, but that's not why we're here. This is why we're here. I'm gonna see. Should we do this? You guys want to do this one? No idea what we're getting into here. I'm gonna maybe do this. Just log out maybe. Log out. Is this gonna break everything? No, it's not. Oh, come on. And where did that go? There it is. Okay, let's see. All right. If I play this, can you guys hear that? Just turn this music up.
So my name is Bero, and today we are going to build together some automated tests using WordPress Playground. A bit behind why we are here and why we're working on Playground. So I spend my days as a Playground contributor. I build and maintain Playground. And while working on some of the things and just figuring out what's Playground useful for.
There is an echo. I'm pretty sure it's in the video. So don't at me. Jonathan, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for hanging out.
For me, the two biggest key points are Playground can start really fast, comparable to empty Linux machine to WordPress. And you can easily configure it during the boot process. And these things are extremely important for automated testing. And then, because of some of my history, I initially started working on Playground a year and a half ago, and I was doing a logging system for Playground. Then I was doing a lot of automated tests to check all of the core plugins and themes against Playground.
There we go.
And in the process, I figured out, first of all, it's really hard to test with Playground. But then I also saw, like, well, there's a really nice function called run CLI. And if I just export that function, suddenly testing with Playground becomes extremely easy. Around the time,
it was in the video itself. There was some echo, must have been echo going on in the record or something. Who knows? They had a fantastic AV team while we were there, so they did a great job. Shout out to the AV team that's clearly watching my stream.
Applications for Work in Europe started, and I said, let's do a workshop. And here we are. Pointer? Okay. So before we go through what are we doing today, just a disclaimer what we're not doing today. For testing, we're going to use a couple of libraries, Playwright vtest, and we're going to use GitHub Actions for continuous integration. First of all, I can't promise we'll get to everything, but I'll try. Second, I won't focus on all the libraries because I'm not an expert on either of these. And the point of Playground is that you can use it with any JavaScript testing library. So I just chose these because I'm most comfortable with them. But you can try it out with Jest or any other library that you can use.
Okay, cool.
So now, what are we doing today? First, of course, we need to set up our environment. We need to download the project, npm install, and all of those things that you do typically in a JavaScript project. Then we're going to explore the Playground CLI, because the CLI is the actual tool that allows us to run Playground in Node.js under the hood. Next, we're going to build an end-to-end test just to see how to actually spin up Playground in a JavaScript environment and to run a test. And finally, we're going to move on to integration tests, which in my mind are the more interesting and complicated part of this workshop.
Hey, Kev, have you done anything with integration tests for CodeBlock Pro? Because this is exactly where I think the whole reason I want to do this is because I want to add them for AQL because AQL's got so many UX elements and all that junk. Yeah,
Sure.
anyways.
And in the end, we'll just see all of this running in CI by pushing it to Git. And if we have some time, hopefully a Q&A session. Okay. Oops. Okay, let's get started. I'll move on to my machine. Oh, I lost a slide. That's the most important slide. Give me a sec. Let's pretend this isn't Q&A, but this is better that.
Oh, okay. He's linking us to this site. If you're interested, I'll drop it in here. This is where all this stuff is. And this is the repository, and this is I think this is like the tutorial part. So we could just follow this, but maybe, I don't know. Let's just see. Maybe we can follow the video. Or
of course, something has to go wrong.
Dave Strength 9, hello. Welcome. Holla. Holla.
Okay, so we need this link. Okay, I'm spending time formatting now. Okay, let's pretend this didn't happen. There should be a QR code here, pretend it is there. Just go to bero.dev/WCEU 2025. I'll leave it up for a second. This page should have all of the instructions so that you can just start opening links from there, that you don't need to go to a couple of different places. Okay, all good? Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry. If at any point you have a question or you need assistance, just raise your hand. I'll try to help with the questions. And Philippe here, he will try to help you out with your environments or any issues that you might have. Like, there's a lot of us, so also just try asking the people around you and form groups, because otherwise we won't be able to complete all of this. Okay, so if you went to this link, you open this. Here are all the important links, so I'll just quickly open up a couple of them so that you have the context of what's important. This is the repository we are going to use to start. So first thing you can do is you can just git clone this onto your machine. All of the node modules are inside, so it's around 600 megabytes. So give it a second.
Oh, that's brave. That's brave. Including the node modules. All right. That's interesting because it's always like, so workshops. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here. So I've done a few workshops at different conferences and stuff, and it's always an issue with like internet. Like, you never know, are people going to be able to download anything, or does the internet going to completely suck? So I mean, I guess it's trade-off of like, just get the repo for all your nodes, or then npm have a million people npm install. I don't know. Interesting. I never thought of that. Can't do it with like Gutenberg because it's like 4 gigs, but
second, but then you should be ready.
Yeah, you know what? The other thing too, I've noticed. So I've considered doing this in a couple in one workshop, but I ran into a problem where someone did that. They had like it was brilliant. They had a box of USB keys. There's probably like 30 of them or something, and they all had their whole project on it. And when I plugged the USB key into my computer, it automatically stole my banking information. No, I'm kidding. When I tried to build for whatever reason, the the node modules was like tied to his Git account or something. I don't know. There was some conflict and it just completely died, and I had to dump the node modules and reinstall. So that's why I've been hesitant to do that. But I mean, I'm sure it's probably not an issue here.
Ready to go. And then below.
So should we do this? All right, let's jump over to here. And I'm gonna. What does -b mean? I've never seen that. What is git clone? Git clone -b. What does that mean? clone bear and clone copying data for the working directory. Interesting. I've never ever used that one. A specific branch? Oh, the start branch. Duh. Okay. There we go. All right. I'm just gonna jump into my repo. I'll just paste that in there. Let it run in the background. Cool. So that's running.
Are all of the instructions like the requirements? In our case, that's Node 2018 because that's the version that Playground supports as a minimum version. And then there's the typical stuff like npm install, npm CI, and all those things. I'll go through them together with you later on. Next, if at any point you get lost or aren't sure how to do something, and I'm just rushing through the entire thing, go to this blog post. Everything should be listed here. Everything that I'm going to say, all of the examples, it should be all written out. So that's a good way to catch up. And finally, the Playground documentation. For us, the most important part is going to be the blueprint section of the documentation. And in the end, the Playground CLI documentation.
All right, I'm just gonna pause there for a sec. I'm gonna close this one down because I have a new one open. So I just checked out the repo. I'm just gonna just set this up, zoom this in, switch back over to the browser, and then I should actually just be able to get out of there. I can close this now. Yeah, that's why I told you to do that. Clear, weird. All right, so let's jump back over to here.
Okay.
Oh,
let's get started.
I'm talking.
So first, I will git clone this into my machine. So my term. Yeah.
Okay. We just did all that. So let's. I'm just gonna follow along with this. Oh no, sorry, with this now. So nvm install, nvm use. Interesting. Sounds good. Let's put that in there. We're just installing the version of Node that this particular thing wants. It's right here, 2018.3. So once that's done, we can go CI. CI does a clean install based on the package JSON. Which is strange because it already has the Node modules in there. I don't know, whatever. Let that run. It'll take a few minutes. Now let's jump back over to see what Barrow's saying.
Yeah, that's in the browser version of Playground. We try to keep it as small as we can, but at the same time, you need to download a full. You need to download PHP. You need to download all of the PHP extensions that come with PHP, and then you need to download WordPress, and it all blows up to 36 megs in the browser. In the Node version, it's different because there we don't have the restriction because we're downloading only once. So we give you everything. We give you all of the PHP versions, all of the WordPress versions, all of the extensions, and then it blows up to 600 megabytes. But once you have it, you should be good.
Oh,
okay,
that makes sense,
mine is finished, so I'll slowly start moving through the process.
All right, let me just see where we're at over here. Okay, so that's done. What's the next step here? So, okay, so we've done that. Is that what he was doing? Oh God, now I'm lost. I'm lost. Let's see. Cloning, he cloned it. Okay, let's see what he says.
First, let me just move to VS Code. Playground demo. Okay, I should be good. Let me open the built-in terminal. And I won't update VS Code right now. I'll leave this for later. Okay, so thing number one, I will just check that my NVM is good. So I'll do NVM use. I'm good, but you can do NVM install just to make sure that you have the right version. There's an NVM file, so that is going to pull it automatically. Next step, npm CI. I prefer CI in this case just because it takes stuff from the package walk instead of package JSON, and we can make sure we're all on the same version.
All right, that's where we were at.
And now, Is the font? No, it's not big enough.
Sorry, I'm trying to
Is this good?
get us more real estate here.
Last row. Okay. So where were we? We installed, and now just to make sure everything is ready for us, let's do npm run test.
All right. npm run test. Nope. Okay. Oh. Ah. Okay. So, are we getting the same error he
Test
did?
one passed. Test two passed.
Yes.
Okay, we're good. If you're on Windows and you have issues with npm run test, there's two separate commands here. One is test integration, and the other one is test E2E. On a couple of occasions, I had issues with running. And
I don't think I installed Playwright, or maybe I need to update Playwright. I don't know what is going on here. All right, let's jump back over here and see. So install Playwright. I did not do that. Executable doesn't exist. So, okay. So this part, he probably already has all this installed. I probably just don't. So let's install npx playwright. Let's just run it. This, we're gonna get this, and then I'll run it again, and that should work. Hopefully. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. While that downloads, I'm just gonna
npm run test in Windows. So if you have problems, just try running these separately, and it should work. Okay. Did you get it downloaded and running?
Yeah, there was a problem with like browser type.launch executable doesn't exist at looks like playwright test or playwright.
Oh, sorry.
Updated, please run the following command to download.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't know if you
Yeah,
can hear
I
what
forgot
they're
the
saying,
step
it
because
sounds
yeah, I
like
have
somebody
Playwright.
else has the same problem.
Yeah, it's easy for me. npx playwright install with depth. It's listed here in the development setup. Yeah, just run this, and this will make sure that you have.
All right, let's do npm run test now. No, why? Okay, so that one worked. Let's see, Chromium. Oh, okay, perfect. We're gonna get this set up just in time for me to have to drop off. That's hilarious. Okay.
Everything for end-to-end tests. Okay, are we good to go?
Okay, for the sake of time, I think I might just try to go through what he has going on here. Right? What do you think? Or maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. What do we think here? Okay. Maybe we'll set the speed to go a little bit faster. 1.5.
Yeah, no complaints. A couple of knots, we should be good. Okay, let me now move this a bit and let's get ready. No, okay, so we need the terminal first and the README. So inside the README, below all the setup stuff, there is a section on what we're doing. So the first part, as I said, we need to just get started with Playground. And all of this here, even though it looks like a JavaScript thing, it's actually a typical WordPress plugin. Because our goal here is for all of you to be able to start using Playground in any of your projects. It can be a full WordPress site, a plugin, a theme, or whatever typical WordPress project is. The plugin does only a few things. So the main file just requires an admin PHP and the API PHP. The admin PHP loads an admin page with a simple form and a list of messages. And it, of course, has some jQuery to submit the form. On the flip side, there's the API. It's just one message endpoint. It accepts a new message. It modifies the message so it's ready for the response, and then it saves it in the database. If everything goes right, you get a success response. If it fails, you get an error. And that's about it. OK, so now how do we go from having these PHP files to having running WordPress? To get started, we're going to do npx at WP Playground /CLI. And then I'll just do --help. And I'll expand this because this. OK, so the Playground CLI is the best way to use Playground locally as a node environment. And the help command is the current up-to-date documentation. So whenever you're working with the CLI, I suggest that you go here and figure it out from the help command. Okay, there's 3 basic ways of running Playground CLI. Server, this is the one we're going to use. You can run a blueprint, and you can build a snapshot of your site so you can reuse it later on. Okay, so let's go and start the server. Give it a second. That's it. WordPress is running. If you go to the page,
But that's so fast. That's
Typical
ridiculous. Damn, I don't believe you. npx, what was it? npx at WordPress. No, hold on. What's the command? It's lightning fast. Let me see what that command is here. Is it in here? Where is it? npx Playground CLI server. Let's do this. Well, that was stupid fast. That was so fast. Am I the only one that thinks that's ridiculous? I even had a couple of extra things going on in here, but that was fast. Wow. All right. Playground, you're awesome. Okay. That was crazy fast.
We go to WP admin. The secret password is password. And after we log in, everything is as you might expect.
I can't get over how quickly that spun up.
So how do we get the plugin into the actual site? Is by mounting it. To do that, we are going to call mount, and then we are going to specify the current directory, use a colon, and then set the path where we wanted this to end up. So in Playground,
okay, cool.
everything starts with the WordPress folder. Just like, for example, in Apache or Nginx, you would typically start off with inside var HTML, and then your site would live in there. Inside Playground, it all lives inside the WordPress folder. And then, because I have a plugin, I'm going to just do WordPress WP content plugins, and then Playground testing demo, which is the name of the plugin.
Okay, we're gonna test that. I still can't believe how stinking fast it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this. So this is exactly the same command that he pasted in. So mount. So current dir semicolon. Okay, let's run this. Did you see how fast that was? That's nuts. That's nuts. Okay, so password. Username is admin. Password. Go. Plugins. Install plugins. And there it is. Holy crap, that was fast. I think there is actions for this, Kev. I think that's where this is headed. Let's get it back into it. I'm excited now.
And now the current folder is going to be mounted as a plugin inside WordPress. So let's give it a second. And let's see where we got. So I need to log in again after reloading, and the plugin is here. If I activate the plugin, it works. It's not the most fancy plugin, but that's enough for us. Okay, but if you've noticed, I ran through it maybe too quickly, I had to activate the plugin manually. And you kind of don't want to do that if you have a local environment and want to keep testing and reloading it every time. So we want to configure the site during boot, which is the second important piece for me about Playground. Sorry, this isn't the right screen. This is the one I want. Okay, so with Playground, to configure your site during boot, you are going to we use blueprints. They are
okay.
Sorry, let me open it up. So blueprints are JSON files that give you the ability to configure Playground during boot, and you can do stuff like set the PHP version, set the WordPress version. You can log in the user, go to a specific page after starting. Some of these are browser specific, but you get the point. But you can also have various steps like installing a plugin, downloading a zip, manipulating the file system, and so on. And this is what gives us the power to prepare your environment in the exact way you need. And then you can use that blueprint to spin up it in the browser, to spin it up locally using Node like we're doing, or to run tests. And in each of these scenarios, so like these 3 different environments, you're always going to get the same WordPress at the beginning. So in our case, we are going to use only a single step, and that's activate plugin. I'm just going to copy it from here and create a new blueprint JSON file in the root directory.
Okay.
Blueprint
All right, let's. I think I can steal it from here, right? Yeah. Okay. So this, I don't know if I've linked this or not, but this is the sort of the text-based version of what we're going through. So we're going to need to create a new blueprint. Oh my god, blueprint. I'm so excited I can't even type. .json. Feel that right? Okay. And then I guess we're gonna have to plunk that in there, right? Okay. And then let's see what he does.
JSON. Okay. Let me move this a bit down and let me do this. Okay, so in our case, we actually need only two fields. We need a step field, which says which plugin are we activating, and we need a path name. The plugin name is used in the browser version when you're loading WordPress just to display loading message. So we can skip this one, and then we can copy the exact same path from the mount command.
Okay, so that's what we did.
And that should be it, I think. Okay. Or,
so, oh, that's interesting.
No,
okay, so it's gonna. Well, how do you? I guess it just assumes the current directory, but let's see. Let's see what happens.
The exact plugin file, because it needs to be path to the plugin file name. What's happening? Okay. So playground testing demo.php. So activate plugin, path to the PHP plugin file.
Okay, so there is a differentiation there between. So when you're doing it with the CLI, you mount a directory, and then like we're doing here. So we're mounting the current directory into this directory in Playground. In this, you have to go right to the actual file, like the actual file there. Okay, so that's good to know. That's good to keep that.
And then I go back to my terminal and I do blueprint equals, and then I just specify the blueprint path, which is in my case in the current directory. Okay, and now if I go back to the site, reload it, login, it works.
Oh, cool. Okay, so all right, so he did the same command, which looks like this, but then he went blueprint. Can you see that? Okay, yeah, blueprint. Maybe I'll zoom that in. Blueprint, and then it's going to be current directory, and it's blueprint.json. So if I run this, waiting for that to run, I'll go in here. Wait, refresh. Oh, get lost. My keyboard just died? What's going on now? Keep me going with you. Okay, and now it's active. Cool. So that's activated now. Nice. So that was that step. Okay, sweet. Pretty cool stuff.
No, blueprints in this version don't support mounts. Mounts are specific to your local machine, and blueprints need to be universal between environments.
Oh, so he answered that question that I had about the mounts stuff. So his answer, I don't know if y'all didn't hear that, but I'll restate it. So mounts are specific to the local environment, which makes total sense. And blueprints need to be universal. So that's why you don't mount through the blueprint. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. Barrow, can you add stuff into the DB? Yes, you can. You can do that with different steps. If you look at the CLI documentation, maybe, or actually no, let's look at the blueprint documentation. So there's a whole bunch of steps around blueprints. I can never find that. There we go. Blueprints. So steps. So you can do anything. You can run SQL. You can import content. Yeah, you can do that. You can run PHP. There's a lot of stuff that you can actually do. You can. I have an example of that somewhere. Yeah, you can run like arbitrary PHP. Where's a run PHP? So what's the example? So right here, like insert a post, right? And you can run with options. I don't know what the example is here. You can do, anyways. So yeah, so you have a lot of options of things that you can do. Yeah. You can have it like wipe the database too. Like you can do all kinds of stuff. I think you can run CLI commands as well, which is really cool. So yeah, anyhow. So yes. Answer your question, Kevin, is yes.
Okay, yeah, this is probably a good point. Are there any questions? Okay. Did you get it run? Sorry? Oh, no, that's, I can't use this. Okay. Does anyone need any help? Philip, would you? Thanks. Okay. Are we good to move on to doing tests? Okay, I'll give you a second.
Yeah, you can. Oh, actually, you know what, Kev? There is another way of doing it. You can in the welcome guide, you can actually disable that right in the landing page URL. Actually, Birgit, in her talk, she showed how to do that. So you define the landing page and you pass the, I can't remember, it's a get variable that you pass, and it says no, but you can store that that way as well if you always want to be landing on the same page. Yeah, go. I do this now. What does Kev do now? Yeah. Yeah. I think you can absolutely do that. No problem. If you're defining like a landing page in your blueprint, you can pass certain parameters to it. Let me see if I can find that. No. Where is it? Steps. No, we don't want steps. We just want blueprints. Where tutorial? Where to what? So you know what? There's a blueprint gallery. Is this it? Blueprints gallery. I think this might be the one. So there's a bunch of galleries in. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? Where'd that go? Nope. There we go. That maybe one of them is in here. So you can set the color scheme to do. Oh, I passed it? Yeah, probably. Anyways, have a look in these, and you can definitely find something in here. There is a way to do it though. For examples, was this? Anyways, I'm not gonna spend much more time on that. But oh yeah, so the landing page is the thing that you want, but it's literally you pass a URL or a parameter to it. Command find, command def feature. Nope, not on that page. Anyhow, you know what? I'll just stop what I'm doing so I can find it for Kevin. It's gonna bug me if I don't find it here. Where is Birgit's? There it is. So we can look in the slides. I think she's probably got it in the slides somewhere. Presentation slides. Let's see. Content steps. Okay, hold on now. Hold on. There it is. Welcome is 0. So that's what you pass. right there. So if you were to pass that as the landing page, you go to the admin page, and then it won't show that. So you know what? Let's try this. Let's add this to our blueprint. We'll just do that. Put a little comma, not a period, comma after that. And I think if we just run this again, we should have the landing page appear with no. Kevin likes to hijack my stream. That's a song I wrote just for you, Kev. Just kidding, friend. So, oh, you know what? We're gonna do it this way. Oh, maybe it didn't work. Must not have worked. I must have done that wrong. Wait. Huh, interesting. Okay. I clearly did it wrong. Maybe it doesn't, maybe that doesn't work in the CLI version. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But that does work in the browser version. But maybe what you're doing, you should just continue doing. Yeah. Does that work on the standard WP2? It doesn't have a welcome page. No, but when you go to the root of the WP admin, you should say, oh, are you talking about the overlay? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, I think we're talking about two different things. Okay. Well, yeah. I think you can turn that off too, but that's a user-based thing. Or user.
Just a quick reminder. If you prefer to copy paste on the blog post, all of the snippets are there, so you can just quickly copy paste it as well.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. Yes, sorry, I'm thinking two different things, Kev. Okay. You're talking like the block, welcome to the block editor thing, and I was thinking that black overlay, which clearly didn't work anyways. But yes, you're right. We will have to turn that off. All right, I'm going to jump this ahead.
Run a single command and WordPress is running.
You know, whenever you run npx play WP
auto-mounted.
So it's very similar to like the.
For example, if you have a local development environment you're using, like you can set options, you can set. So as back to where we were. Let me open the README file. Let me hide the terminal, and let's see what we got. So we have a local development environment running. We can mount our plugins, and we can configure the site using blueprints. And now it's time to write some tests. For this demo, I thought that we could start with the easy stuff, which is end-to-end tests. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm using Playwright here just because I'm comfortable with it. But you can use whatever JavaScript-based tool you want. Technically, you can use also other programming languages, but then you can't use the JavaScript portion. Like, then you can't call it from JavaScript, you need to call it from the command line. The Playwright setup is default, out of the box. I just removed some of the things to make it smaller, but there's nothing Playground specific in the setup. The same applies to vtest later. I'm mentioning this just to tell you there's really nothing special about Playground here. It's just a default Playwright for end-to-end testing. So I have an example file here. Let me just rename it to admin because we want to test if the admin UI loads. And let me actually run the test. So how you do it is npm run test E to E. The difference is that this is going to spin up this interface from Playwright, and then you can see what's happening with your test inside the interface. This is good for debugging purposes, but I hope we won't need it as much. OK, so how do we get from this to testing the actual admin interface in our site? Our goal here is going to be really simple, but where's the site? The site is here. So our goal is, oh, I killed the Playground. Give me a sec. OK, I want npx. I want this, and I'll just leave it running in the background. OK, log in. OK, so our goal is just to check if workshop tests title is present. Once you're able to do that, then you can do all the typical Playwright stuff, like fill in the input, submit stuff, go between pages. Like then everything becomes Playwright. And again, like we don't need to go here into Playwright specifics. So we want to just make sure you can actually get started with Playground. OK, so if we take a look at this, the first thing you see is you need to go to page. How do we go to page? So let me just do this here. Let's say admin page. And now our first goal is to run Playground. So I'll do this. The first thing I need is I need to import run CLI from the Playground CLI package. And then what I can do is I can do const CLI equals await, and then I need to await run CLI. And then I need to literally copy over what we did inside the command line here. So first thing I need to do is I need to specify my command, which is server. The next thing I need to do is I need to mount. And then I specify my mount slightly differently. So I say my host path, again, is this. My VFS is virtual file system. Path is the WordPress. Let me copy it because I'm lazy. It's actually going to be quicker to type it. WordPress WP.
For the record, it would not be quicker if I was typing it.
Content slash plugins playground testing demo. Playground testing demo. No, playground testing demo. That's enough. Okay, and the last thing we need is we need to run our blueprint. To run the blueprint, we actually need to read the file and then return back the and pass the JSON to it as a JSON object and not just pass a string. So to do this, we'll just use some stuff from FS and path, and we'll do const blueprint. It's really hard to write code without AI these days. So I'll just do this. JSON parse. And then what do I want to parse? I want to parse a file that I read. I'll use read file sync from FS. So I need to import it from FS here. And then I'm going to use resolve from path. Again, import it here. And then I'm going to resolve the path exactly as I did in the CLI. Blueprint, JSON. And finally, read file sync requires a second argument, which is UTF-8 in our case. OK, so if I got everything right, I'm specifying the path to my blueprint JSON file. I'm reading the file, and then I'm parsing the JSON. And now, in the end, I can just say blueprint. OK, and that's the important part of this workshop. So how we can go from your project to the CLI, and then starting the CLI inside JavaScript. OK, so how do we make this useful? Let me do this, because I assume some of you will try to copy this. So we first need to figure out what's our path. I'm going to expose a couple functions here. So I'm going to expose a server, sorry, a couple functions, a couple of objects. And I'm going to do this CLI server. I'm not just doing a couple of helpers to make it more clear and to help myself. Then I need to get access to the request handler, because how the CLI works is when you start the CLI, you get an Express server, and the Express server is what's accepting the incoming requests. Under the hood, Express forwards all of those requests over to Playground using a request handler that's built into Playground. And the request handler literally accepts a network request. It understands, OK, like these are the headers, like this is the actual URL it's trying to get to, and then it knows what to do with that request. Like if it's image, then it knows to pull the image from the file system. If it's a PHP request, it knows to go off to WebAssembly to actually execute the PHP. And we don't need to actually send stuff over to the request handler because we have Express in front of our server. But by getting access to the request handler, we can get the absolute URL and some other things. So in this case, I'm going to call it handler, just to keep it short, and then I'm going to say CLI request handler. OK. Next thing. I won't need it now, but I'll need it in a second. So let's get access to PHP. I'm going to do this. I'm going to await the handler and then ask the handler to give me the primary PHP. Now we can run PHP from JavaScript. OK, and now it's actually time to construct the URL. So for the URL, I'm going to...
Ray Flores 88, and longtime viewer, first time commenting. Well, thank you for commenting. Joined a bit late. What came with the workshop? So the goal of the workshop is to do sort of advanced stuff in Playground, specifically testing. So we're doing some end-to-end testing and everything. Building automated test is the idea. There is, yeah. So it was a workshop that was done at WordCamp Europe, and I wasn't able to attend it, but it's pretty cool so far. So yeah, so you're a bit late, but the video is that we're following along with is all right here, and you can get all the assets that you need from the various links in there.
To do this, I'm going to do a new URL, and then I need two parts. The first part is I need the relative URL for my admin page, which is wp-admin admin php page equals workshop tests. But this is a relative URL, and to get access to to actually ping the running site, I will ask the request handler to give me the absolute URL. So now the URL should actually be localhost something something wp-admin admin php and so on.
I guess technically though, Kev, it's being able to do this inside of anything, because once you get the URL and all of that stuff, you could do this in any end-to-end testing tool. So if you're using Jest or whatever, right? So yeah, so it's, and I think that's the point of what Barrow was saying earlier, that there's no, like, he's using Playwright because he knows Playwright, but you can use anything because it's, you know, once you have all that stuff. Yeah, so you could use Cypress, all this stuff. You could get, like he's showing us how to get the URL. So you want to go to that URL, big and boom. That's how you do it.
And if everything works, we should be able to do this. We should be able to say URL to string. So we're going to the page, and then on the page, we expect it to say workshop tests. OK, easy enough. Let's go here. I'll just reload this to make sure it's all ready. And let's see what happens. We got the login screen. So good part is this means that WordPress is actually running and loading. So Playground is working, and we got it to work through the CLI. The bad part about this is that we need to actually get access to the admin area, so we need to log in. In a typical Playwright setup, what you would do now is you would find the input, then you would add your admin name, then you would add your password, and then you would click the button to get in. First of all, that means that you need to store your secret password, which is password, inside your code, which you don't want to do. But also, it's just extra manual work every time, and Playground makes this easy. So instead of us doing all the manual stuff, what we are going to do now is we are going to call Blueprints to help us. And we're going to say, I want to import login. And I want to import it from the Blueprints package, which is WP Playground Blueprints.
Couldn't we just add this step to the blueprint JSON file? Would it work?
Unfortunately, no. It's a bug report that we need to fill. But also, this approach actually allows you to toggle between non-admin and an admin. So putting it in the blueprint depends on what you would prefer. Yeah, but ultimately, yes, there is actually a login argument in the CLI, and it's broken. OK, so let's get back. So before we go to the page, we are going to await a login. I imported just something which I don't want, but I'll remove that later. The first argument for me is PHP, and then the second argument is only the username. We don't need the password. WordPress will figure it out and log us in without the password. And that's it. So now we run the CLI using JavaScript. We pass the blueprint. We mount our current project. We get access to all of the helpers. We construct our URL. We log in the user, and then we execute our Playwright test. And then finally, just to not slow down your machines too much, what you should always do is you should end your test with await server close. Otherwise, you're going to accumulate 1 million servers, and you don't need that in your life. So we're now using the server from the CLI.
It's a great line. You don't need that.
This is going to stop PHP from running. This is going to close the request handler, and then ultimately kill Express. Yes, it's from WP Playground Blueprints. OK, let's see. Worked. We got a green check mark, and we can see the interface is actually showing the page, and that's it.
Oh, that's super nice. All right, should we try it? Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna break this whole thing, guaranteed. Bam. All right. Where's this thing? Where's the? Nope. Oh well. So we'll just get this tutorial wherever that is. Oh, I think nope. Just so I can copy and paste some of this stuff. Okay, end-to-end tests. So okay, so what was the first thing he did? Let's jump back over there maybe. Let's get. Got a good screenshot there. Maybe that's a good one. It's not. All right, well, start at the top here. We can see some things. Okay. So the first thing he did was, okay, so we need to import the CLI. So in our test, in our end-to-end test, an example. So this is going to be, we'll do this admin page, right? We need to import, what was it, CLI? And playwright test, right? Let's see. CLI from playwright test. Okay, so then, oh no, wait, no. There we go. Let's look at this so we can actually see what we're doing here. Oh, wait, this is way more complicated than his stuff. Okay. Copy necessary imports from here. So run CLI was the one that I wanted. So we're gonna do run CLI. And then he had what? Const CLI equals, oh wait, run CLI. And that's not right. And the things he was passing is what? He was, so the command, then we're going to do our mounts and then the blueprint. Okay, so the command is, this is hilarious that Cursor keeps trying to do this. Command is server, right? And then what was the other one? Then we could do our mounts. So this is what we were doing before. Mount is an array, not an object. Right? Come on. And that's sort of what it is, but I'm going to steal it from wherever I put it in here. I'm going to steal that. So there. Right, so that should do the mount. And then what was the next thing? Then it was host path and VS. I think I need to do that. So host path and VSF path. So this is host path, and was it virtual file system path? There we go. Right? Now, did he have a, no, he didn't. Okay, and then the blueprint. So to do the blueprint, we're gonna need to do parse, read, sync. Okay, so let's jump back over here again. Be gone with you. Okay, so what was it? It was npm run test, and he had end-to-end running in there. And that's this doodad. Since there's no tests, doesn't seem right to me, but whatever. Okay. And then, okay, so we're gonna do the blueprint. So up here we need blueprint. Blueprint is JSON parse. Wow, look at that. Oh, I need to import. What's this? What's this? Why is this yelling at me? Not playwright. Where did it import from? It definitely didn't import from CLI. That's what I want it from. Okay, so that's there. So I need to import FS from FS. We can do that, right? Is that the one he what did he do? He did read file sync resolve. Okay, cool. So instead of, I'm gonna do it this way. So read file sync and then do that. This is, and then after the mount, I think we just passed. We did that. We passed blueprint. Okay, and then what did he do after that? Okay, so server handler in PHP, and okay, so can I just steal some of that stuff? So we did what, server And it's going to do a bunch of CS. Okay, so then after this, he did const server, const handler. No, it's request handler, I believe. Request handler. And that's enough of that junk. And what was the other thing? PHP await handler dot get primary PHP. Okay. Const PHP equals await handler PHP. No, get. I love how it's just making shit up here. What is get primary PHP? Get primary PHP. Is it request handler? It's not a function. Not a function, friends. Is this other one a function too? It is. It's a request handler. Why is that yelling at me? CLI.server. Handler is CLI.request handler. No. Okay. And this is what? CLI is probably handler.get primary PHP. Oh, I did. I just that is what I was meaning. Okay. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Liam, how's it going, Liam? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for hanging out. So we're gonna do a new URL, and I'm gonna just maybe just steal that. Where am I building this URL out? It doesn't have to be this complicated, friends. Does not have to be this complicated. What's in here? Oh, get lost. Can you just run the server in your terminal? I think I can. Let me just see. Let me just see what I'm doing here. I probably don't know. I'm probably just not doing this right. So this is all the import stuff, right? So, all right. So what did he, so is this, there it is. So if I run this now, let's see what happens. Oh, it's not going to the right URL because I need a URL. Const URL. URL equals new URL. That's not it. That's not it at all. Admin. Oh God. Okay. So I need that. So it's what it takes 2 parameters versus a string. Second is okay. All right. And it's an absolute URL. Okay. So this is going to be that string, and it's going to be is it handler? Get absolute, wait, what is it? Oh, I can't remember. It's handler absolute URL. Okay, so this is actually going to be WP admin, and then I can't remember what it was. WP admin $ working, okay, page working test. Admin.php $ page equals, oh God. My memory is horrible. Workshop tests. Workshop tests. And then I pass that to there. Right? What? Not admin URL. My God, these autocorrect things. Absolute URL. And I pass that in there. Do a little toString action. Right? Let's see. That looks fairly accurate. Let's jump over here. And we're going to go boom. We're going to go boom. Why did that not run? Okay. Uh-oh. All right, let's run the test again. Oh, running. Page. Okay, so we have the same problem. We have the same problem that Barrow had, which is that it's not logging in. So we need to import the login, right? Import login from that's not the right package. What is the package name? Oh, you know what? I think it's in here somewhere. Login is from Playground Blueprints. So that's where we want to import that from. Sorry for all the jumping around. I just figure it's easier than fighting through it. So then we have this login. So we have to do the, what step do we do the login? Let's look in here. So, okay, so he hasn't done login. So I'm gonna jump forward a little bit in the video again so we can kind of see where the login happens. Okay, so he's actually doing the login before he, okay, cool. So we're doing the login here. So we'll just do it right after this is defined. Await login. Every time it try to autofills these things, it makes my head hurt, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Oh man. Okay, so it's actually just taking this PHP and it's an object, and I don't know. Username is admin, and I think that's all I need, right? I think that's all I need. Username, admin. Formatting is garbage, but that's fine. Let's go back here. We will run this test again and see what happens. Oh, and we're in. And did it pass? No, because our test is going to fail, but that's fine because it has the wrong thing. It needs to have workshop tests, right? So if we run this again, boom. And it passed. That's cool. I don't know. Can you read that? Can I zoom this in? I don't know how much I can zoom this in. So this is actually working now. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. So, okay. And then where did we, okay. So we're sort of back on
You
track
should
there.
end your test with await server close. Otherwise, you're going to
server close. We got to add that. So then after here we go, await server close. Now let's rerun and just see what happens. Don't, okay, so it, all right, cool. That was so fast. How fast that ran. That was amazing. Okay, so now I guess my question now is, what's running here? So if I stop this is obviously not going to work anymore. It's gone. So if I do npm run test, what's the package here? So if I run test, it's going to run vite, and it's going to run playwright, and then let's just run test and see what happens. No. So this is my integration test. Cool. That's doing this thing. That's doing its thing. Okay. So, oh, that's amazing. Okay. What time is it? Okay. Let's keep moving.
to accumulate a million servers, and you don't need that in your life. So we're now using the server from the COI, and they're just.
Pharaoh, if you're watching this is
going
a phenomenal
to stop
workshop.
PHP from running. This is going to close the request handler, and then ultimately kill Express. Yes, it's from WP Playground Blueprints. Okay, let's see. Worked. We got a green check mark, and we can see the interface is actually showing the page, and that's it. Okay, I'll go back to the code, and I hope this is a good spot. So as I mentioned, now you could go further, and I initially planned for us to click the input, then add some text, click the submit button, check if the message is there, and all of those things. But we have only, 35 minutes left, and we still need to get to the hard part. So I assumed it's going to. I assume for this to be a good stopping point. And then if you want to work more with Playwright, go to their documentation or just use AI, because AI writes really good Playwright tests. Unfortunately, I'm skipping AI today, so it won't work for me. Okay, any questions?
The first thing that pops into my head now is that, you know, you're going to want to be doing this for every single test. And so I don't think you're going to want to do it in every single test, if that makes sense. I don't know Playwright that well, but I'm pretty sure there's like in unit testing, there's this concept of like you can do some pre-setup, and it would be probably good to do that. I don't know if it matters that much. Let's look and see what he has going on in here. So he's also test that before each test. Okay, all right. So that's exactly what he's talking about. So before each test, he's doing all of this, and then after the test, he's closing the server. Right. Okay. Wait. Page load. Expect. Blah 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 blah. All right. Before all. I don't know if there's a before all. There may be. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like if you're like, for example, my plugin, you're always going to be logged in. You're always going to be on the same page. You're always going to it's always going to be pretty much the same environment. So it'd be cool if you could just like do a before all. So I guess that's a playwright thing, right? So playwright before all, and we'll do it with a question mark. Oh, there is a before all. Somewhere before all. The quiz before all hook is executed once per worker process before all tests. So that might be where we'd want to do it, right? Yeah. Anyways, that's something to think about. Let's jump back into here so we can look at these integration stuff.
Do you need this to stay for a moment? Okay.
Just one question of the use of Playwright, because could it be used in order to analyze a?
That's an interesting point, Kev. I've never thought about that. Spotlight. So you clean the database before each test. It might. So maybe it is faster just to like close it and create a new instance of it. Because with the way that Playground works, you get a clean instance every time, set up exactly the way that the blueprint and everything has defined it. So maybe you don't need to worry about it. Maybe it is just better just to, before each test, just spin up a new one, and after each test, close it down. I don't know. It moves pretty quick. Like it's very fast. So maybe it's not a problem. I don't know. If anyone's playing around with this, let me know what your findings are. Oh, that's interesting. You find it faster to create, to do a backup when the instance is empty, then tear it down, then import the empty. So you're talking. So this is an integration test, is what you're talking about. Like you're actually inserting to the database and everything, right? And working on that. Okay, cool. That's an interesting way of handling that.
Plugin and scan for any malicious code in the front end or in the headers, like.
Or just execute PHP.
You know what? I may just have to drop. You know what? I'm gonna do this.
And then you can get back the entire HTML page, and then
just jump forward a bit.
So before we close this file, I'm just going. Okay, no, I'll leave it for a second. So let's go back to our README. What did we do? We created an admin page test. We checked that the page loads, and then we didn't do the remaining two things because we want to save some time. And now it's time to move on to integration test. Okay, I'm closing this one. So our first integration test is going to be just to check if the plugin is active. I want to do this check because, first of all, if your plugin fails to activate, that means that you definitely have a problem. Second, it's a way to show you how to actually test PHP function calls, which are specific to WordPress. So let's get started. I'm going to rename the example test to, I'm going to call it API because we're going to eventually get to API stuff. I know the naming isn't the best, but names are usually the hard part. Okay, so now, as David mentioned, we need a before all, and we need a after all. And then I'm just going to do this for a second because I'm lazy and I want to copy paste. So what we're going to do now is we are going to.
So he's just talking about exactly what we're talking about, but in the integration portion. So cool. Somebody's doing something right.
Copy the exact same approach that we did for end-to-end tests into the integration tests and spin up Playground. Again, that's the actual key point. So we can copy all of this into a before all. So before all, it's always async, and I always forget that part. That's it here. So and I'll just copy all of these things. So yeah, let's start with a lot of copy pasting. Again, loading the blueprint, starting the CLI, everything is exactly as you've already seen it. But now these commands which I need, I'm just going to expose them as let's here. So the let server, what do I need? I need a handler. I also need let PHP. We'll actually use PHP pretty soon. And then I'll also expose let API URL just to make our life easier down the line. Okay, and then again, just doing the same thing over server. Then I'm going to use the CLI. What am I doing? CLI server. I'm going to do the handler and then say that the handler is CLI handler. You get the gist, and then in the end, I'm just going to get the PHP. This would already be done with AI. Sorry, I'll keep complaining about not having access to it. Okay, and then in the end, after everything finishes, we always want to kill the server. Wait, no, sorry, it's async. And then we want to await the server to close. Okay, should be good to go. It's also probably worth for us to, just to make all of this easier, I'm going to just do this PHP request handler. We're using TypeScript, so let's get the benefits from it. Sorry, I just want to acknowledge the moment that we're actually using a PHP type inside JavaScript. Sorry, I'm still always amazed by this with Playground. Okay, so let's start some PHP. So first thing we want to do is check if plugin is active. Okay, we'll leave our true for now. So how do you check if a plugin is active? The simplest approach is by calling is plugin active from WordPress. It accepts the relative plugin path. So in our case, playground testing demo / playground testing demo.php, and it returns back true or false. How do we do that? We run PHP. So we do const result equals, and let's await, and then let's say PHP dot run. What do we want to run? We want to run some code. As always, don't forget to open PHP.
Oh,
okay, so what this is doing under the hood is it takes the code from the snippet.
See that? Okay. Is that zoomed in enough? I don't know. Let me know. It's getting a little small.
It creates a PHP script, and then it executes that inside WebAssembly. That means that this PHP script doesn't have any context of WordPress. And then to get context of WordPress, you would do something like require once, and then you would require the WP load file, which in our case lives inside WordPress / WP load.php. Okay, what did I get wrong? Oh, I'm missing an async here.
You know what? I gotta jump back a second. I don't
okay, and now
know what he's talking about.
we just want to check like require the PHP script. Wait, and then let's say PHP dot run. What do we want to run? We want to run some code. As always, don't forget to open PHP. Okay, so what this is doing under the hood is it takes the code from the snippet, it creates a PHP script, and then it executes that inside WebAssembly. That means that this PHP script doesn't have any context of WordPress. And then to get context of WordPress, you would do something like require once, and then you would require the WP load file, which in our case lives inside WordPress / WP load.php. Okay, what did I get wrong? Oh, I'm missing an async here. Okay, and now we just want to check if the plugin is active. So let's echo, and I'm going to do a JSON encode. I'll explain shortly why. JSON encode, and then I want to return back is plugin active. And then I want to check the plugin, and in our case, that's playground testing demo. I'll just copy it over. Playground testing demo.php. Okay, I can now close this one. I took everything I need from it. So what's happening? We are running PHP. We are running this script. The script loads WordPress to get access to all of the WordPress functions, the context, and everything else. And then we run is plugin active, check if the plugin we loaded is active, and then we wrap all of this in JSON encode. So why JSON encode? Because here I'm going to do result.json, and then I can test it against true. If I would just echo the response here, first of all, I would get it as a string. Second, depending on your script and depending on what runs inside WordPress, this is actually going to load WordPress and then load load your code. And if a random plugin has a warning, which is printed to the screen, it would end up in your output. By doing this, you can just get a cleaner output. Okay, so we need to actually try this. I'll put it back on the screen again in a second. So instead of running end-to-end tests, we are now going to do npm run test integration. Yep, that sounds about right. And let's give it a second. The test passed. That's it. So we loaded PHP, we loaded WordPress, we checked if our plugin is actually active, we got back a response, and then we validated all that in JavaScript. Now you can use this approach for any type of integration testing when you need to execute PHP. You can technically also use it for unit testing, but PHP unit is a really good tool, and I'm definitely not advocating for rewriting everything from PHP unit over to Playground. But with integration tests, like there might be use case where you actually want to start using Playground.
Can you comment out the line where you activate the plugin and you can see this fail?
Yes. Do you want to comment out the mount or the activate? You choose.
Let's comment out activate.
Okay, so
It's there, but it's not activated.
okay, activate is inside the blueprint. I'm going to disable the blueprint and failed. And it failed with, oh, wait, where's my terminal now? It should fail with a false. Yeah, that's it. Good point. It's easy to write a passing test. Okay, let's get back to the test. Passed. Okay, we have 20 minutes left. I'm thinking what to do now because there's a few things I still want to show you. So let's just go back here. Okay, so we checked that this works. Now we want to test the REST API. So at least in my experience, when it comes to testing the REST API, it becomes problematic really quickly because especially if it's an endpoint that requires permissions like.
All right. Before we do that, I'm gonna try to get that part done. I don't remember how to do any of it, so we're gonna have to figure it out. What is this? Nope, not that. This is gonna be. We need to basically just need all this stuff, right? Grab all that. Put this in here, and oh, we need what do we need? We said before all and after all. We need that. So in here we do before all async. There we go. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is the scribe yelling at me? That's amazing. But I need to do let server. No. And let, what was the other thing? PHP, let handler. And then what was the other? There was something else you did, and I can't remember what it was, but we're going to take a look. So where am I now? We're at the 5351. So let's, there we go. Let's just. Sorry, let's jump back. All right, so you got server handler PHP API URL. Okay, server handler PHP, let API URL. Okay. And then in our sync, we got this blueprint, which he did it slightly different way like this. That's fine. And then after, okay, cool. All right. Should we do it the way that we did over here? I think we will. I think we're going to grab this. I think I'm going to put this just above the CLI. I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to replace this junk. I'm just going to do this. Oops. That's what I want. Right. Server equals CLI server. Was it done down there? Hello? What? Let's just see. Oh, yeah. Server, handler, PHP. Okay. I don't know what this is yet, and that's just, I don't think we need to await that, do I? Let's look. Oh, man, request handler, okay, cool. There we go. Handler, request handler, wait, PHP handler, get primary PHP. That's cool, that's cool, that's cool. All right, let's save this, and we'll jump back over here. All right, we'll jump forward a little bit, and actually look at the test we're running. Okay, so we just want to check to see if the plugin is active, right? So there it is. Okay, so we just want to do this. Okay, I'm gonna say is the plugin active. So in here, const result. It's going to be. We need to await, but we need to await PHP, don't we? Run. It takes an object. Okay. Sorry, what was it? PHP dot run? Yeah. Dot, comma, run. And it's going to be an object, and the code is going to look like this. And it's look at this. This is so dumb. We need to go PHP. We're going to go require once. It's trying really hard. What is it? WordPress WP -load. Sure. And there we go. It's interesting. So we want to JSON encode that, if I remember correctly. Encode. And I don't need any of this junk. JSON encode is plugin active. We get a bang. Oh no, I already have that. Right? Should be it. And then results dot JSON. No. Wait, what's he got going on here? And down here it should be result.json to be true. Okay, so now let's go npm run test integration. Uh-oh. No. Okay, that worked. That was a bit slower, but that's pretty cool. And of course I broke it with a typo. That wouldn't be, I'd been so on brand for me. So on brand. All right. Well, that is pretty amazing. This is pretty awesome stuff. Let's see where we go next. 51, 53, I think is where we were. Like right in this area.
So instead of running end-to-end tests, we are now going to do npm run test integration. Activate. You choose. API should fail. We actually want to form data, and then it stores that in the database.
All right, so we're doing REST API stuff now.
Okay, so API should fail. We actually want to fail now. Async, and then we want this here. Okay, and I had a helper up at the top, so I'll just fill it in now. So I created like an API URL, and then I'm going to do the same thing I did with end-to-end tests, where I created the new URL. So I'm going to use the handler, and from the request handler, I'm going to get the absolute URL. So now the URL is going to match the actual running site. Okay, how do you test an API endpoint in JavaScript? You use fetch, const response equals, await, fetch. I'm missing something? No, it's good. So API URL to string. Okay, and we said that we need a few things. So it's method post, and then we need a comma here, and we need a body. For the body, let me just copy paste this because it's the standard form data. Okay, I'll just write it. Const form data equals new form data, and then I'm going to do form data append message hi, and then I'm going to pass my form data over to the request. Okay, so now if everything goes right, this is going to fail, and we expect the response status to match or to be, that's also good, for 1. I'm also going to do this. I'm going to console log, and I'm going to console log the response JSON, just so that we can see what we get. Again, this is a regular fetch. There's nothing Playground specific here besides the initial starting of the server. Okay, both tests passed, and you can see that during the second test, we got back a REST forbidden response. Okay, We have 15 minutes left, so I'll stop for a second if you have any questions.
My blueprint is failing when I run the, I don't know if it's for the path or something, but when I run in MPX with the blueprint, is failing. I don't know.
Philip, do you mind taking a look? Thanks. Sorry, could you give them the mic?
I don't know, is it the right time to ask questions? So I wanted to see if we can add the whole.
All right, I actually have to stop. I didn't even know what time it was. This is a bummer, but this is really cool. I'm really excited about it. I'm already thinking about ways, like for example, the is plugin active thing, because in some pretty basic in some of the sort of basic tests that we've seen for blocks, there's always like it tests that on the JavaScript side to see if the plugin is actually, if your block is actually available, right? So now you can test to make sure your plugin is activated and your block is there separately, which I think are two different really important tests. Because you know, if you want to make sure that the plugin is physically enabled and there's no errors, but also that the block is registered correctly. I'm just thinking about that in the context of my advanced query block. So I think maybe what I'll do is my next stream, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to integrate a bunch of this stuff, right? Yes, you're right, Kev. But if there's a problem with your in-queue path or something, the plugin could be enabled, but the block's not there, right? So if the block's not there and the plugin's not, like you will catch the test that there's a problem with the plugin being enabled, which would also be a problem with the block being enabled, but the vice versa is testable, right? I'm not sure if I can do another one on the same subject. Well, you should. It's cool. But anyways, I'm going to drop off. I'm sorry we didn't quite get to the end of it, but I would highly recommend going and checking it out. I'm going to finish it sort of in my own time, and then we can come back and test all this stuff. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Liam, great to see you again. You know, as always, you're all fantastic people. All right, I'm gonna drop off. I'll talk to you all later. Have a great day. Stream tomorrow. Kevin, I'm off tomorrow, okay? I'm having some family time this weekend. I'm going away. Gonna go have a big tomahawk steak for Father's Day. But next week for sure. Wait, did I say tomorrow? I didn't say tomorrow. Next week. Whatever. Anyways, Kevin, you messed with my brain. Talk to you all later.